As you know, this Friday we're having a special Veterans Day ceremony which will include many different speakers and activities. We had the opportunity to interview two of the people that you will see at the ceremony. Today, you get to hear our interview with Colonel Doug Lowery.
Colonel Doug Lowery of the U.S. Army Reserve has been in service for 25 years. He is in the Medical Service Corps, and he was in 2 combat deployments in Afghanistan and a couple of training missions in Germany.
September 11th. It's that simple. I mean, terrorist attack on 9/11, and thousands of people decided that it was their turn. It was their time to serve, and in that instant, the decision was made. Not at all.
What about your family? What did?
That obviously family different situation. I went reserves because the job I had at the time. I still wanted to do that position, so I wanted to be able to serve. But at the time, I couldn't serve full time. Young family, my wife was pregnant at the time, but it was just something that the calling was there, and they understood. Oh yeah, oh definitely. I mean, I think everybody who goes through basic training sits in a bunk at night at least once and think, "What in the world did I get myself into? What am I doing here? I could be home in my in bed, my own bed, with my family." So there's no doubt that question came up multiple times during basic training. My current position, I'm the director of the Reserve Integration Office of the U.S. Army War College in Carlisle, PA. There are roughly about 100 reserve soldiers that serve at the War College in one capacity or another. The War College is as I mentioned earlier, is the top level senior service college. There's the Navy War College, Air War College, Army War College, National Defense University, Eisenhower Public Schools, and lieutenant colonels and colonels, as they're going up the career path, they can choose one of those institutions. The Army War College is obviously the Army version, and those 100 soldiers, they serve, some of them teach the distance program, some of them teach training. My job as the director of the Reserve Integration Component Office is to manage and to run those individuals. Veterans Day is extremely important. It's interesting because Veterans Day and Memorial Day are vastly different. They're still on our military. Memorial Day, obviously, for those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. Veterans Day is a day for honor those who served. And it doesn't matter if they served 2 years, 20 years, in combat, not in combat, in peacetime and wartime. Everyone has served and everyone has done their duty. There are jobs, there are trigger pullers, there are door kickers, there's a tip of the spear, there are support positions. Everybody has to do their job for the military to successfully accomplish their mission. Just like in, pick a sport. It's fall, so we use football season. If the line doesn't block, the running back doesn't get the yard, he doesn't get the accolades, but the line doing the grunt work. So everybody has to do their individual job to be successful. And it honors those individuals who have served our country. There are multiple organizations that are there to serve and help veterans. Because there's unfortunately 22 veterans and active duty service members a day commit suicide. There are several that try to help with veterans homeless or suicide prevention. But the average person, what they can do is respectful. Is you guys being younger, 16, 17, 18 years old, you see the veteran, the old dude with the black hat, World War II, Vietnam, whatever, and for you guys, honestly, it's some old dude. But you got to realize, back in their day, that guy was more hardcore than you could ever possibly imagine. And each veteran, regardless of when they served, how long they served, they're still serving partially today, because it takes a significant toll physically, mentally, on the body, on the mind of individuals who serve, depending on what they've seen, what they've done. So just because they're no longer wearing the uniform, chances are, vast majority of those individuals are still serving, in the fact that the difficulties they're dealing with, whether it be physical or mental issues they're dealing with from their time frame. But what you can do is respectful. Yes, always saying thank you to the veteran, that type of thing is nice, and it's the most convenient and opportunistic. But more so, it's the actions other than the words. What I mean by that is simple things. National anthem, standing, hat off, quiet, but more so, it's living your lives in a manner that is respectful for what those individuals gave you and gave me. Because this is an old axiom, but it's true. Democracy is never, there's only one generation away from extinction. So you guys are the next group. In a few years, the mantle will be handed to you guys, and it'll be your turn to defend freedom, whether it's someone who decides to serve in the military or not. If they don't serve the military, they can still do their part by working hard, raising their family right, and being respectful and continuing to do the traditions that the United States we have as a nation.
If you'd be comfortable, would you be able to tell us any stories or memories that you have from when you were overseas?
Sure. Realistically, first deployment, I was in Gardez, Afghanistan, which is, there are no sticks or there are no trees over there, but they're in the mountains. It's a very remote area. And we got there in December 28, 29, that type of thing. I wasn't there more than 48 hours, and first deployment, first combat deployment, so I'm scared, I'm nervous, I don't know what I don't know. And I'm walking by, and I was a medical service team, and I had my medics on my team, and I walked by the clinic, and the captain who's in charge of the clinic was driving by, and I'm just in my uniform. He's like, get in the truck. So I hop in the truck, he's the commander, so I hop in the truck, and said, where are we going? Oh, we're going outside the wire. Well, outside the wire, to someone who's never been there, I don't have anything. I have my sidearm, and that's it. I don't have my lock, I don't have my M4, I don't have my helmet, I don't have nothing. So I'm, when you say a little nervous.
Yeah.
Well, hindsight, it wasn't that big of a deal because we were just going right outside the wire to the village, and a lot of times at that time frame, a lot of the villagers there'd be a pop-up villages next to the army bases for safety and protection. So we went to their village in a little hut that was out there to do what they call a medcat, which is a medical engagement. And what we would do was just go out, and the medics would be there, and they were providing just very, very basic medical care. And then a lot of times the special operations guys would be there and collecting information, those type of things. So I went, and I'm just there helping, and whatever they needed to do, fine. And I'll remember this like it was yesterday. There was a little girl that was probably probably 2, maybe 3, and she's in a Buzz Lightyear onesie, footy pajamas. So obviously it's donations from the U.S. And she's her dad's holding her, and she's sucking her thumb, and she's rubbing her dad's ear. And my daughter at the time, when it was 4, and she would do that to me all the time. And it was just like a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Just struck it like, wow, I'm halfway across the world. Make you realize that people, forget governments and policies and all that type of thing, but people are the same. These people were halfway across the world, and I did the exact same thing, but 3 months earlier. And then seeing the people come in, this is what really got me, is just the abject poverty. It was December, it was 30 degrees high, if that, and we're 5,000 feet in the air, elevation-wise. They're coming in, and if they had a jacket, they were fortunate. And just seeing the dirt, which is baked on their hands and faces, it made me realize how really fortunate we are to be living in the United States. And it really, for me, that first experience, first 2-3 days on ground, really solidified what our purpose was and how fortunate we are to be living in the United States. I don't know if I'd say it changed it. It definitely, it brought it to the forefront in terms of, because again, when you don't know another group of people, it's human nature. Oh, they're all like this. They're all like this. Well, no, people aren't all like this, or they aren't all like that. And we realize that these individuals, at least the people that I saw in that event, they were average folks trying to do what they could to take care of their kids, to get some medical care that we were fortunate to be able to provide at the time. Oh, 100%.
Just more awareness.
Oh, 100%, yes. I mean, again, PTSD is very real. It manifests itself in multiple ways, and it's not always, actually, obviously not always, but very rarely is it right when they come home. Because when you come home from combat deployment, there's that honeymoon period where everything's great because you're home. Keep freedom from experience. You feel like you're invincible because you survived a combat deployment. But then once the day-to-day trappings, if you would, of normal life, because realistically, when you're deployed, it's in my opinion, tougher on the families because we've got our job to do.
Yeah.
But we're not bombarded with the day-to-day trappings of life, if you would. Again, things become a lot simplistic. When you're over there, it's do what you need to do, survive, get to the next day, and move on.
Yeah.
You're not worried about the day-to-days per se. So that rings true when people come home. Sometimes they'll have a hard time adjusting. Sometimes it's within a few months. Sometimes it take several years before it brings itself back up. It could be a smell. It could be a sound, a sight. Each person's different in terms of what triggers it. It could be when someone is sick, when the body is fighting, whether it be illness, that type of thing, and it's not as strong to push those feelings, if you would, down. They may manifest themselves at that time frame. But mental health is extremely important. And the military is doing a better job. When I first came in, you're hoo-hoo, you don't talk to anybody, you suck it up, drink water, suck it up, and drive on type of thing. Which is still, in the moment, you have to do what you need to do. But we're doing a better job. There's still room to go, obviously. But we're doing a better job of making service members understand, hey, look, it does take strength to be able to say, hey, look, something's off, I need some help. That's extremely important for those individuals, to, if they have the question, they have the issues, is to talk to somebody. And there's several organizations in the VA as well that are there with providers to help those individuals when they have issues. Well, I would say there are thousands of different jobs in the military. What you see on TV, you see in the movies, with the exciting stuff. It's the trigger pullers, the door kickers, which is fine. That's the tip of the spear. That's the purpose of the military. If someone wants to do that, great. But there are multiple opportunities. If you pretty much pick a career in the civilian world, there's some aspect in the military that equates that, can do the training for that individual. So if they're looking for a career in the military, same thing we talked about before we started the interview, is look for, number one, what branch fits your particular personality. What job do you want to do? Are you looking to do 4 years and get out? Or are you looking to do potentially a career, or don't you really know? And finally is get a position that will translate when you come out of the service, whether it be computer skills. And realistically right now, military is all in on AI. So if someone has an interest in terms of artificial intelligence, technology, there's a lot of area to grow in the military and all the branches using AI as well.